Today we are going to know the structure of the root apical meristem. So there is a root cap. This root cap is a dome-shaped protective structure. Here the cell that secrete the mucilage to ease the soil penetration. The outer cell lock off continuously. There is a quiescent center, a small group of cells inside the root apical meristem that divide very slowly. It acts as a reserve of stem cells. It can replace the damaged meristematic cell when required. They actively divide the initials that surround the quiescent center. These cells divide rapidly to form a new root tissue. There is the region of differentiation, that is maturation. So cell form a ram, elongated and then differentiated into specialized tissue like epidermis, cortex, xylem and phloem. So what is the function of root apical meristem? Growth of the root, increasing the root length. Then formation of the primary tissue, that is epidermis, cortex and stellar region. The quiescent center, it maintains the stability, and the root cap, it protects from any injury or mechanical injury. For that the quiescent center is important. And the continuous renewal, it keep producing the new cells. So root cap consists of ram which have a quiescent center and stem cells. And then there is a region of elongation and region of maturation. So root apical meristem, it is a group of continuously dividing undifferentiated cell located at the root tip, and they are responsible for the primary growth of the root. So we know that a root cap, it is present at very tip. It is made up of parenchymatous cells. What is the function of the root cap? To protect the root apical meristem, to produce the mucilage, that is to lubricate the soil penetration, and outer root cap cell continuously slot off and are replaced. Then there is a quiescent center which was first described by Claus in 1959. This is located just behind the root cap in the center of the root apical meristem. The cell divide very slowly compared to the surrounding initials. What is the function of this particular quiescent center? To serve as a reserve of the stem cell. It can replace damaged initials. It maintains the organization of the root apical meristem. Then the actively dividing cells, they are known as the initials. They surround the quiescent center. They give rise to the root tissues like the root cap cell, epidermis, cortex and stellar region. So what do we call the root cap cells? Calyptrogen for the root cap cell, dermatogen for the epidermis, peribellum for the cortex and perirome for the stellar region, that is a vascular cylinder. Then there is a zone of development where there is a zone of cell division, zone of elongation and zone of maturation. So the zone of cell division, where the root apical meristem itself behind the root cap is present. Zone of elongation, where the newly formed cell elongate, pushing the root tip deeper, and zone of maturation is where the cell division differentiation takes place into specialized tissue like xylem, phloem and cortex. So what is the function of the root apical meristem? To maintain a continuous primary growth of the root, for the production of all the primary root tissues, to protect the root tip by the root cap plus the quiescent center regulation. It plays an important role in the gravitropism. The root cap statocytes sense the gravity. So in a short para, we will know about the small theories of root apical meristem. First is the apical cell theory, which was proposed by Nagila, and this theory was proposed in 1953. This theory states that there is a single apical tetrahedral cell which give rise to all the tissues of the root, and the base of the apical cell from the root cap and the upper three sides of apical cell give rise to the other tissues like epidermis, cortex and vascular cylinder. So this theory is applicable only to the vascular cryptogam. Only as a group of the initial cell has been observed in the root apical meristem of angiosperm. Then there is another theory, that is a histogen theory, which was proposed in 1868 which was postulated by Hanston. He proposed that there are three distinct meristematic zones termed as the histogen. So these zones are dermatogen, peribellum and perirome. So each zone is specific, it have some specific function. So dermatogen form the epidermis, peribellum give rise to the cortex and vascular cylinder and are originated from the pelirome. So later on, calyptrogen was defined as a fourth histogen that plays a role in formation of the root cap. Then Haberland proposed the name protoderm, ground meristem and procambium for these three histogen, dermatogen, peribellum and pelirome respectively. The histogen theory was based on cellular configuration. Scoop in 1926 divided the root apical meristem into various types. So type A, all the permanent tissue of the root are originated from a single apical cell. It is found in all vascular cryptogams. And type B, these are the two separate group of initial. One give rise to the vascular cylinder and other tissue like epidermis, cortex and root cap derive from the secondary group. Mostly we can see the second type in gymnosperm. And the third type, there is a poor organized initial that develop in the root cap like cortex and vascular cylinder, and it is found in dicotyledon. And the final one, these are the three separate group of initials. One group from the root cap and other group give rise to the epidermis and the cortex, while vascular cylinder derive from the separate group, and this is found in the monocotyledon. Then there is a Corper Cape theory. The Skloop in 1917 educated this theory. So he described the organization of the root apex based on the planes of division. He proposed that the cell at the root apex is divided into two planes. The first transverse division takes place divide the initial cell into two daughter cell, and one of the daughter cell divided by the longitudinal division to form a T-shaped structure, due to which it is known as the T division. Based on the division, the root apical meristem is differentiated into two zones. So the inner region is inverted T-shaped structure, and it is formed because of the upper daughter secondary division in the cell, and it is known as the corpus, that is the cap. And the outer region is a secondary division. It occurs in lower daughter cell and forms the straight T-shaped structure termed as the cape, that is a body. So these corpus and cape are clearly differentiated into monocotyledon. Then Corper Cape theory, where the central region of the root cap, the cell are arranged in a longitudinal files which we called columella. So and a cell of these region divide rarely. And cell of this region they divide rarely, like the Corper and Cape theory of the root apex. Tunica corpuscle theory of shoot apical meristem is also based on the plane of the cell division. So these two theories show similarities in organization of apical meristem. So what is a quiescent center? It is a central cup-like hemispheric region which is found between the root cap and the active meristematic zone in the root tip, like cloves and maize. So the quiescent center is also found in Arabidopsis thaliana. It is a hemispherical shape, a group of mitotically and metabolically inactive cell which is located just behind the root cap. The amount of DNA and RNA and protein is less in these cells. So these cells have a low mitotic activity. The cell organelles like mitochondria, they are also less in numbers. So later on, quiescent center is found in the root tip of many plants. So when the cell of this region are exposed to X-rays, the meristematic cells stop dividing and the cell of quiescent center become active, because the cell of quiescent center are more resistant to the radiation than the meristematic cell. Therefore, the quiescent center is considered as the central mother cell that form the promeristem of the apex. So it acts as a reservoir of diploid cells when the root tip is damaged. Thanks for watching. Do like, share and subscribe.